Hello, I'm Laura Milkins, and I'm a nationally recognized interdisciplinary artist right here in Tucson. I'm going in search of Great America. This project is a mobile radio lab traveling to every state in the Union, 2 cities per state, the biggest city, as well as a smaller mid-sized town. I am asking people to define their Great America, past, present, and future. The heart of this project are the interviews. They are a podcast as well as weekly videos. Given COVID-19, I am no longer physically traveling along my route, but I will be following it virtually, asking librarians to nominate someone in their town or city to participate. COVID-19 is a perfect time to think about personal identity as well as national identity. I think that these are really fraught times, and it's important to think about what kind of country do we want to be and what kind of people do we want to be. Since Trump said, "Make America great again," I've been thinking, for who? What great America, for who and how? So I'm really curious to find out, what's your great America? The questions that I'll be asking each person are, where did you grow up and what was it like? Was there a time in history that you believe America was great and why? What's great about now for you? What's your great future look like? And who are we when we are our best? The heart of the project is that idea of creative envisioning of what kind of world do we want to live in? What kind of people do we want to be? There'll be weekly podcasts and videos. Those will be found on my website, as well as in streaming things like iTunes and places like that. And at the end, there'll be a premiere screening in Tucson. This is a highly collaborative project between the librarians that nominate someone in their community, guests envisioning their, great America, community videographers who decide to participate and show me something about their community, what makes it special, what makes it beautiful. Resident historian here in Tucson, Tom Krzelski, will be answering the question of what was it like to live in that town at the time period that someone thought it was great. So looking at what type of people lived there and how weren't they included in a great America. I also will be sending out a demographic sheet to each guest that they can fill out, talking about different parts of, their race and ethnicity, economics, age, and all of that stuff. I'll hand the data over to the librarians and just say to consider that when they're nominating someone in their community, because I want to get a really broad spectrum of this country. Who lives here? What do they believe in? What do they want for themselves? What do they want for their country? My work is highly participatory. I've been doing work like this since 2007. The work that I do, I'm not a typical performance artist who performs in a specific space. My work is based in online interactive projects that invite the community to participate both in person and online. And I think that that's really important now that we're all in our homes and we're eating up Netflix by the minute, that we could have something like this to talk about that gets to some of the bigger issues that are brought up. The projects that I've done in the past are the Depression Session, which was a weekly radio show and podcast that invited people to talk about their depression and the things that helped them through it. I also did Walking Home Stories, where I wore a live webcam and I walked from my house in Tucson to my mom's house in Michigan. It was 2,000 miles. I stayed in strangers' homes and I invited people to walk with me and share stories. It was a pretty amazing journey. People were incredibly generous and the country is beautiful. The other project that I did that relates to this is Walking Stories Mexico, where I crossed all of Mexico City with strangers, asking them to walk with me and share a story. And I would not walk if someone wouldn't walk with me and share something. During the beginning of it was the outbreak of the H1N1 virus in Mexico City. So I'm really familiar with doing a project in the middle of a pandemic and watching the city shut down. I ended up putting it on hold, of course, until things were safe and I could go out again and walk with people and talk to them. So I feel like I'm uniquely prepared to do this project. My work overall is about community and collaboration and getting at the heart of who we are and who we want to be. The Tucson premiere will invite people to come and experience the video and audio as a screening, as well as listening stations where people can put on headphones and interact with a map and select a location and listen to the audio, or they can watch the videos from that region. Those will stay in the gallery space. The premiere will just be a one-night event. Ideally, this would be shown in MoCA or the Tucson Museum of Art or Seinfeld Warehouse, a space where it would be appropriate to have a big group of people. Because I plan to do press releases before this starts on May 15th throughout the project, especially in the communities where I'm interviewing people, as well as in Tucson, and at the end to invite people to the premiere so that they know what's happening. One of the reasons that it's important to me to get an award for this is that I need to be able to pay the videographers for their time and effort. And at the end of it all, getting community support for the project from an organization legitimizes the project, that it's taken seriously, as well as inviting people to know about it. The more people who know about it, the more people who can participate. With COVID-19, I know so many people who are sequestered in their homes and really thinking deeply about who they are and what's important to me. And I think this is the best time for me to be doing a project like this, asking people, what kind of America do you want to live in? Thank you.